Hello, welcome back. And as you can see, I'm just walking along. Got a break in my day, and so I'm lucky I have flexible job, so flexible hours, so I can just dash down to the garden. And it's sort of mild, but we've had some rain today, so it's a bit damp underfoot, lots of puddles, but the Spenny doesn't mind that. Spencer doesn't mind that. Yeah, do you ever feel that you just have to kind of dash out and just grab the opportunity and spend half an hour in the garden, just to, even if it's just to water and check on things, make sure nothing bad has happened in the night, you know, pick off those slugs, or just check to see if anything's been digging in the garden. So yeah, I'm back. I have to come down today just to have a short visit, but I wanted to show you how I planted my tomatoes and how I've frame them up, just using whatever I could find, support them using whatever I could find around the garden. So come and have a look. Well, we may as well have a little tour while we're here, see how things are doing. And we've had like heavy downpours and warmer conditions, so things have just gone, you know, burst into life. All of the shrubs and the hedges and the grass and the trees, and everything's just gone a bit kind of bizarre. And like the vegetables, fruit and vegetables have also done the same thing. Let me turn you around. Just have a quick look at my peas, and yeah, they're just about, so this has got climbing support frame, just the netting. It's literally an expandable net. It's about £1, £2 maybe. Very cheap, easy to use. Can use it year after year, so I just fold it up and I tie it up so it doesn't get all tangled up, and then pop it back out again. So peas are coming on now. They've just started to take down the line. Yeah, we had a few casualties from the slugs, definitely, especially at the bottom end where it tends to be a bit poorer, or there seems to be more slug damage down there with the a slightly different variety. But I boosted that on. I've added some new ones that I had spare in the greenhouse, and I've added a few, just pop them into the ground, into a whole kind of extra piece to kind of see if they germinate and come up, and give them a bit of a boost as well. And we have our potatoes, at least in the pots, and they're doing really well. I've got some space here. I could actually, oh, I think there are some rogue fennel, so yeah, I might take those out actually, because the first lot just got eaten down to the ground. Yeah, here we go. All potatoes, some Cara, I think, and yeah, all the same variety. But we'll just top them up a bit, but they're way down in there, so they're not going to be affected by the light, so they won't be going green, and I don't think they're going to be frosted out, so I could just ignore them and leave them. May need a little tie-in towards the fence. See, I've got a bit of a mesh here, so I could just support them, because they do tend to sort of flop over a little bit when they're in the pots. Here are the first lot of tomatoes that I planted. Again, they need staking, but they're, at least the wind is coming from this direction, so they've got a bit of a backdrop here to give them a bit of wind support. So I don't think they'll be blowing over, and they have literally grown about 4 inches since I put them in there 4 or 5 days ago. So yeah, doing well. Had my first ever batch of coriander. Oh, if you could smell it here, it is glorious. But I just literally grabbed a bunch, cut it across with my scissors or my shears, and popped it in a bag, give it a rinse off, and put it straight into the freezer. But now this is all starting to bounce back up. All the small leaves from the bottom are just coming through. So yeah, this is like cut and come again. We can just carry on with that for a while, and then I've got the second batch, which is the smaller ones, just over here. So I've got one more lot at home as well, so we can just carry on. We're sort of on the last legs of the pak choy and things. You get a bit of damage, but you know, still making enough leaves. Like by the time you pick one, lettuce doing well. So yeah, we've got plenty of food coming now. Woohoo! Here's tomatoes take 2. Let's just stroll along and have a look. You can see cherry cerise. Yeah, these 3 cherry cerise. Aperol. Come on, babies, look. Oh yes, we're making a few trusses, but we'll just see how they go. Need to pinch these out. Aperol. Indigo pear drop, always a bigger variety. You know, you need a bit of space for this one, and it takes longer to fruit, but beautiful yellow and black tomatoes, like real big trusses of fruit. I love those. So 3 indigo pear drop and 4 Aperol and 2 pink cherry cerise. Look what I've done. I've just used my ordinary bamboo canes. So here, there's my uprights into the ground. Pop those in first and then add a tomato by the side of it, and just literally weave a side one of the bamboo behind, in front, behind, in front, behind, until you get to the end. Wedge it in, just tie it lightly in. I've just done the same ties here, and that really makes a secure framework. And I've just done 2 layers at the moment because they're quite close to the ground, and you can see you can overlap them. So if you haven't got a cane that's long enough to go right to the end, stop it there, start a new one, and then just tie it in. And I will just keep going up here, and I've just tied the whole thing in through the greenhouse onto a bench that I've got on the outside here. This is one tie, or you can use, you know, metal ties to bring it in, just in case the whole thing blows a bit in the wind. But yeah, whoa, great. As I said, a lot of things going to seed now, like all of the herbs, the chervil, yeah, we've had lots of that, and the pak choi, there's a little seed. So I would just do one final pick and pick the whole lot out, and then I'll have tons of the red frills. I've had lots of that. And we've got the new lettuces coming to take over, and I've got tons of spring onions and other greens and lots of herbs. Yeah, I'm going to probably fill this bed with my basil, a second round of coriander, and 1 row of my red peppers, which did quite well in here last year, but they don't like the top being closed, so they go a bit moldy if the top's closed and there's too much condensation, so we have to leave that open. And my onions have finally had a little rain boost, and they've really got their feet down now. So yeah, there's my onion seeds that I planted, and they're taking off. Quick tour of the greenhouse. Yeah, this is a Scotch bonnet, doing really well. You can see there's a bit of slug damage. Some of this happened at my greenhouse at home, and yeah, I've just got tons of stuff in here. So I mean, obviously somewhere there's the little slime trail there, so you know it's not going to kill them, but they just look a little bit untidy with and there's my red peppers, so they're all coming on nicely now. They're in much larger pots, so we've potted them on now to these, I guess they're 3 or 4 litre pots. I don't know, maybe they're not that big, maybe they're 2 litre pots. Anyway, the next size up, I'm sure you can see from the size of my hand what sort of size that pot is. Most of those are all in there now, and we've got a few smaller ones coming on. We've got some aubergines that are catching up, and we've got our ones that we potted on, perhaps it was 10 days ago now. Yeah, 7 to 14 days ago we potted these ones on. So yeah, they're doing really well. And I will just wait, when they're naturally split I will tie them in, and I'll get rid of these side shoots at the bottom, but we need a bit more time for that, so just coming in to have a little bit of a dash around. Now that some of these chilies, this is a habanero, now that some of these chilies have reached sort of 15, 20 inches high, we're going to just pinch out a few of these flower heads and leave the rest on. But yeah, I've got a few spare tomatoes. Maybe I'll put them in, maybe I won't. I'll just have to see how they go. Here's my hanging basket ones. They've perked up, but I've left these inside because we've had a bit of rain. We've got a whole week of rain, so I don't want to just put these. They're such a fine, delicate one that I find they're much more susceptible to the blight and that. So yeah, be careful, don't take risks with your plants. Leave your cucumbers inside, you know, when it's damp. Don't just leave the tiny, if they're big enough plants, then plant them out onto bigger pots and leave them in the greenhouse. But be very careful putting them out this time of year. You know, I've seen my dad, but I can't say anything. He has put one of his kind of courgettes out. He's got it underneath a little cloche, so it'd probably be okay, but we had this last year where they kind of shriveled up and they sort of stopped growing and they were all a bit cold, and so I'm leaving mine for a few more weeks. They can just get big, and I keep feeding them, looking after them, and then when you put them out, they just boom, they just really explode. So I'd rather them carry on, make good fruit than have them struggle for the rest of the season. So that's me. Let me turn you around just to show. So in my low tunnel, I've just planted these 3, and last year my Costa Luto, or any large one, I've got Marglobe, I've got Favourite, and I've got Costa Luto, and they all did really well underneath the low tunnel. So with just a little bit of protection, and we had really huge ripening fruits that kept coming. Not masses of trusses all at once, but they did well enough anyway. So just a quick brush over my chart. Hello. Yep, are you nearly ready to pick? Yes, I think you are. We don't need huge ones, do we? And this is my second sowing of lettuce here, and I'll be picking some leaves, and I've got a fridge full of lettuce. What am I going to do with it all? But yeah, I'm sure that I can just give it away. That's what it's like, isn't it? More coriander. When things start coming this time of year, they are just bouncing and ready to go. Anyone for some mint? I've tried to keep it in a bucket, but it is actually exploding out of the bottom of the bucket through the drainage holes. So you've got to watch out for that as well. This is my other low tunnel. Not much to see here, just tons of lovely spinach leaves I've been picking twice a week. So we're just going to get as much of them as you can, because soon they will just say, hello, I'm going to seed now, and that will be the end of that. So don't wait for the big ones to come, just keep taking all the small leaves, just keep picking, see how long you can keep it going for. And a few spare small cabbages just to replace any casualties. And I don't know about anybody else, but I've found that cabbage is one, compared to kale and spinach and chard and all of the Asian greens, cabbage is like my nemesis. I mean, really, the slugs love it. They get there before me. You have to be vigilant. You have to be on the slug patrol the whole time. So watch out, keep your beer traps full up, and whatever else you use in your garden to try and keep the slugs away. And I seem to miss like every challenge that is on the internet. I don't know how, but anyway, there's been some great kellets growing out there, but I missed the Flying Gardeners challenge, so I might just post a little note to him. But have a look at mine. Woohoo! Come on, baby! Look at these, look. And yeah, I mean, come on, slugs. There's a few little damaged leaves, yes, but they're not just eating the whole thing down to the ground like with my cabbages. So this for me is a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Oh, it's amazing how quick half an hour can go when you just want to pop through a few things, a bit of watering, quick checkup, and yeah, time's gone. Come on, Ben, come on. Add some potatoes in here in the second plot. Whoa! Come on, unless something disastrous happens, these are looking good, don't you think? And I just boosted them up a little bit, covering them up, because these ones were pretty shallow in the garden, in the no-dig bed. But yeah, really happy with that. Ah, if I didn't tell you, this is horseradish, and it's meant to be quite invasive, as you can see. It's spreading a little bit, but these were in here in the no-dig bed, and so I'm gonna have to dig it out and put it in a pot, or move it into a more suitable place, or just give it a little border here once the potatoes are finished. Let's walk along here, have a quick look what I did yesterday. And sorry I didn't show like a planting procedure, but this is just dib, space out. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row there, 25 centimeters, 25 to 30 centimeters apart. This is celery, and they have really perked up because they were in the tiny cells and they started to dry out the whole time. So I just thought there's nothing else for it. I've just got to plant them in. Unlike, you know, the same with my leeks, they were just suffering in the small, so I've got like little clusters of leeks, and I think I'm going to have to thin these out a little bit, but wanted to just get them in the ground. And here is, look, right down there, right at soil level, those tiny little things there you can see are my celeriac. But actually, you know, they've lifted up a bit. They were in the tiny cells, and oh my god, talk about painfully slow. But first time I've tried the celeriac, you know, hoping that they do well. I do like it, and if they make some good things, then I'll be interested in cooking up some more celeriac dishes and sharing that with you a bit later on. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick dash into the garden. Enjoy the time that you have down at yours. It's wonderful to be out and about and just get some fresh air and just see how nature's changing and how everything's looking so wonderful and spring-like and summery. And I'll just finish off by showing you this lovely apple tree that's behind me, and it's all in bloom. See you next time. Oh, one topic we don't talk about is just how muddy the little Spenny gets when we get back. Isn't it, Spenny? Yeah. Oh, did you like it? He doesn't like it. No, he's very muddy. I need to clean him off because the lane is so muddy today.